Hello friends, welcome to Power Automate part 11 of the video series. And in this video, we are going to do a real world demo where we are going to solve a real world problem using whatever we have learned in the previous 10 videos. Let's first see the problem statement. Imagine you have an organization where employees leave the organization and they join the organization. This is a common scenario, correct? Now HR sends you an updated list of employees every day. Your role is to make sure that the master data keeps on getting updated with this new Excel file. But the catch is you don't want to dump the whole set of SharePoint data and replace it with the new Excel file data that comes on your way. There you only want to take those Excel items that are newly added and add them into the SharePoint list, or those items which have left the organization to be removed from the SharePoint list. So basically you don't want to redo the whole SharePoint list but just match the delta. We are taking this problem into a next level by saying that we don't have a primary key. So normally with the employee information, you would have employee ID or some kind of a primary key. But in our data that we are going to use for this problem, we are not going to have a single primary key. We will be having a composite key, means we will be having combination of 3 columns to become a one single key. So that is the problem, and we are going to see how we're gonna solve this. So the starting point would be a triggering point where you will be receiving the file in your OneDrive. That is a triggering point. So we have shown you the diagram on the right hand side. Just have a look. Once you receive the file, the flow will get triggered. Then the next thing would be to extract the Excel rows. Then you will extract the SharePoint items. So what we are going to extract, we don't want to extract the whole set of data at one go. We will create the composite key. We will build the composite Excel keys. We will build the composite SharePoint keys. Then we're going to compare. So if the key is a new key inside the Excel file which is not present in SharePoint, then we're going to add that data into the SharePoint list. Similarly, if there is a key which is in SharePoint list but not present in the Excel file, then we will remove that row from the SharePoint list. So that simple it is. So let's quickly go into the demo and see how this is done. So open the make.powerautomate, and here we are going to do an automated cloud flow. And in this flow, we are looking for a file getting dropped onto the OneDrive. So our automated trigger should be OneDrive. Call when a file is created inside OneDrive for business, and the flow name can be Excel to SharePoint list. This is our flow name. Let us click the flow. Now when a file is created, we need to select the unique folder where we are going to look for that particular file. So I will choose root, and here I will go into attachment. Let me choose attachment as the folder. You can choose any folder of your own choice. Then for the Excel, I will choose Excel as an option. See for more. List rows present in a table. Location OneDrive for business. Document library OneDrive. So the file is the name of the file. We are looking for a file from document library, but we need to search for a particular file. So what we will do is, instead of directly clicking on the folder, we will be clicking on dynamic value, and we are going to find this dynamic value as file name. So the name of the file is dropped into this location in the OneDrive. Then table name. So when we are working with Excel, normally we will have to have that data inside the Excel file in a table format. So the table would be having a name. So in our case, I would just hard code this name. So I will say enter a custom value, and I will name this as employee name. So this is a constant name that will be there in all the files that are coming to us. So this is the list rows present in a table. Then I have to search for items from SharePoint list, and I will say get items. So this is the name of the site that we are going to connect to. So imagine this is the site, and what is the name of the list? Let me go and create a SharePoint list. So I go to site. This is my SharePoint site, help me coder, and I am going to create a new list. and I will name this list. I can create it from an Excel file, but I will create this manually. Employee master record. Then I will add these columns. So the name that I want to keep for the employee record is department, location, role, employee name. The title I will keep it as employee name. So I'll just change this title as rename this column as employee name. Then I will add a choice column. So this column is department, and there are three departments, which is IT, HR and finance. IT, HR, finance. Then I have another column as location, which is again a choice. Location, Singapore, US. Okay, so these are the three values that I want to add into location. Okay, locations is created. Now I'm gonna create another column, which is role, and then the choices are developer and tester, recruiter, analyst. Save this. Then the last column is the email column, text field, and I will just email, and I will save this. So in the starting, what I will do is I will add these three items in the SharePoint list. I have moved my employee name over here because in this Excel file employee name is in 4th place. So I will just say edit in grid view, and I will paste this data. This has some error. Support is not a valid value in the field. So in the role, I would column settings, edit. There is nothing as support, so I will add support. One is not there, so I will add support over here and then save it. So now I will choose this as support. So now I have added all the three values. Email is not a mandatory thing, you can leave it as it is. So I have copied these records, the master records. As of now, these are the record. I will add one more column as a choice, which I will mark it as a status column, which will tell whether the record was added or record was deleted. So as of now, in the starting that there is no status as of now. So but when we are doing the comparison, that status will be filled up automatically. So now coming back to our demo part, here we are going to click on get item, help me coder, and this will try to find. So employee master record is our list name, the list that we just created, and it will get me all the items from this employee master record. Now the next thing that we are going to do is going to create a variable, an array variable, where we will be storing all the keys from this list item. Initialize this variable. Variable name is var list keys, and this is an array, and we can leave it as blank. Change this initialize variable sp list keys. Then what we are going to do is we'll go across all the SharePoint list items and we'll extract the keys out from there. I will go to the control option, apply to each. We'll be iterating through all the items. So for this I will choose a dynamic value, which is the get items. So SharePoint get items, because you are moving across all the get items. So apply to each. We will be using this split keys that we have created. Again, we will be using a variable operation to append the key values. So in this append to array variable, and here we will be choosing this key name, and then we will be entering a value. So now this one, we are going to use this expression editor to design our expression, the concatenation of all the different three keys by which it is concatenating. So I will say concat, and then in the dynamic operations, we will be getting apply to each SharePoint list item is there, correct, the last one. So we will get the current item, we will get the name of the column. So in this, the column name is department, and the locations and role. Department value, so we will get the value of this drop down, and then we will have to have the same thing for other columns as well. So I'll just control C over here. I will put a pipe symbol also, so as to have a demarcation. Then again another value, I'll put another, this one, the locations, and then again this pipe symbol and this value. Say role. So I'm concatenating all the different type of keys together over here. So now this is my key that has got created. So now again I will use this apply to each to iterate against all the Excel items. Control, and in this I would use apply to each, use dynamic variable list row present in table. So this is containing all the list items. I have to create another array, initialize variable, and the array name will be var Excel keys. So initializing variable Excel keys. So and this will be also an array type. Name it correctly. Apply to each for the Excel file. Again I will have to append the values to this array variable, append to array variable, and then I will choose my variable which is Excel keys. The dynamic values, I will be using this expression over here, and in this expression for the dynamic content I will be using concat symbol, and in this there is a dynamic content. I will be using apply to each Excel current item, but over here we need to provide the name of the column in that Excel file. So let us see how the Excel file looks like. So the Excel file will look like this. Now if I tell you one thing, this is the table, and if you go to the table, the name of the table is employees. Convert this data into a table format before you can use it. Then the name of the column that you are going to use is the name of this column. So the name of the column is department over here. So I will just choose as department, then pipe symbol, then I will again have the same thing copied over. I will just copy paste it 2 times. So one is department, then the other is location, and I will just name it as location, and the third one is role. So I will name this as a role. So these are the keys that got created. This is a combined key, and I will add this. I'm concatenating it over here. Just one thing I want to check is list rows in present. What is the file name that I have? The table name I have kept is, I have kept it as employee name. What is the table name over here? The table name is employee. So I need to make sure that this table name is employees, else it will not work. So this is very important thing. You need to make sure that you have a correct table name while using list row present in a table. So now we have to apply to each. One is the SharePoint list. It goes through all the SharePoint list item and extracts the keys and save all the keys in this array. Similarly, this another loop is storing the keys of all the Excel items. But in this same loop, because this loop is going across each item over here, in the same loop, what we can do is we can click on again this control operation, and we can do a condition check. What we are trying to check is that because we have a full list of SharePoint list items, I want to check in this SharePoint list items total set of keys that we have, whether this key is present or not present. If this key is not present, the key that we are creating it over here, if this key is not present, then what we will do is we'll add this item. So in this condition, I am going to use this dynamic value. I will use this list keys. So whether this list keys, where we have all the keys over here, does not contain this concatenation that we have done till now. So I will just use the same value of same formula that we used over here. I will use the same formula in the same condition, and I will just say fx, and in this fx expression I am going to put the same condition. So I'm checking whether this same condition does it contain inside this key. If it does not contain means it becomes true, then we are going to add this item into this SharePoint list. We have to search SharePoint create item. Now inside the create item, I will again choose my site, and my list item is employee master record. Say show all. Now the title value, the value we are getting it from this apply to each Excel, because we are anyhow going past all the Excel items. In this dynamic content, I will say apply to each Excel is there, correct? I will say current item. In Excel file it is called employee name. I will save this and I will save it over here. I will call it as employee name. So I'll just copy this because I have to use this again and again, and I will add this. So department value, again this fx function, I will paste this one, but this time this is called as department. I will just copy this column name and I will change it over here as department and I will add it. Then location, again we have to have a custom value, fx, dynamic content, current item, and this one is a bracket and it is called as location. We are taking the value from Excel file, so I will just use the column name as location and I will add this. Similarly for row, again a custom value and I will add this. Then email is another thing, so I will just name it as email and I will add this. So these are the data that it is getting from the Excel list. Now we are adding this data, so we'll change the status value as added. So this is a new data that is getting added. Why it is getting added? Because in the conditions, this is where the list keys are stored, where this is the whole list key. That list key doesn't contain this particular key that is we are getting from the Excel file. So means this is a new data. That's why we are adding it over here. Then we are going to iterate apply to each against list this time, but this time we'll be running it around SharePoint items. So I will go to control, apply to each, and this one will be running getting all the SharePoint list items. So I will go to this collector and I will go to get items. So I will get items from the SharePoint list. Just name this thing correctly, apply to each, else I will not know. Apply to each sp list. So now when we are going through each SharePoint list item, we need to again check a condition. In this condition, we are going to check Excel keys contain SharePoint key. So here we are going to check whether the Excel contains this SharePoint item, because if it doesn't contain, then we're gonna remove this item. So we are going to choose the Excel key whole data. So dynamic value, we are going to get whole Excel keys, whether it does not contain. If this does not contain this particular SharePoint list item, so now we are going to do the expression over here, concatenate of current item, which is the SharePoint item that we are getting, and here we are going to do the values. So maybe I can take the value from the existing one, apply to each SharePoint. So I will just use this value, so I will use it over here, choose a value, and in this place I will going to add it over here. But remember, this is not apply to each SharePoint list, this one has to change. So let me add one more row. Let me add, what is this name called? Go to dynamic content, click on current item, and what I will do is I will copy this item and replace this one over here. So let me replace this one over here, this one. So rest of the things remains the same because it is again coming from the SharePoint list. So we are getting this key computed out and saying that whether this key is contained in the total list of keys that we have over here. Now once it does not contain this key, means in the new set of Excel value, this SharePoint item is not even there. So this means that we have to remove this item from the SharePoint list. So let me add this. So I can go and instead of directly removing, we're just going to update the item. I will just mark it as remove. So I will just search SharePoint, see more, update item. Okay, so I'll click on update item and I will just go to the same list. I will just find the employee master record, ID of the item, target this, apply to each SharePoint list, that will give me the ID of that item. You can just say FX, and in the dynamic content, apply to each Excel. No, we don't want to use apply to each SharePoint. Like this, we are going to get the current item, but this current item is not the ID actually. So what I will do is I'll put a question mark and I will name it as ID. So this way we are going to get the ID of this particular item. I will change this one over here. Then I don't have to change anything else over here. I want to say the status value as, say, this one item has to be deleted. So now let me show you what we have done. We have seen when a file is created, we are going to see what are the different rows present in a table. We are going to get all the items from the SharePoint list. Then we are going to create two arrays to basically store the keys, the combined keys. So the combined keys, what we are going to do first is we are going to store all the SharePoint array combined key. Then we are running again apply to each around the Excel file. We are appending or creating the key set here itself, but at the same time, so that we don't have to run apply to each again, we are also checking while we are running whether this particular key that we got for this item is already present in this append to array variable. If it is not present, this means that this is a new item in the Excel. So we're gonna add or create a new item. So we're gonna create our item over here. Now if once this is done, all the new items are created which are new in the Excel and not present in the list. We're gonna create it over here. Then we are running this flow, iterating this against the SharePoint list. We are running all the items in the SharePoint list, so that we just want to check whether any item in the SharePoint list that we are going to know the key value from this SharePoint list item, does that key is present in the array, that array of Excel keys. If that key is not present, this means that this item is not in the new set of data that we are receiving. Then what it means, we are going to update the item and mark it as deleted or removed. We are not going to actually delete because we want to keep it for audit purpose. We're going to delete it or mark it as for deletion. So I will test this flow manually. I will test. So once I test this manually, it is asking us or waiting for us to drop something into this attachment folder. So now I have dropped this file, which is the daily update of employee data. And once the file is there, I think this workflow should catch this particular file. So now this flow has run, but we see an error over here. It says list rows present in a table, item not found. So we are saying source is me, employee, table is employees. I think the reason why it is there, the issue is because of this file name. Instead of file name, we need to search it as file identifier or the unique identifier for this file. Then it will refer to this particular file. I think that is the issue. Let me save this and test this again. I don't need to drop the file. I will be using the recently used trigger to test this flow again, so that this will be faster. Don't have to wait for the workflow. So this workflow has run. Now list row present in a table has worked. Let me see the list, if the list has updated itself. And let me see. Okay, so if you see the list had updated, it has marked one item for deletion, and it has added two set of items in this particular thing. So this item should be deleted in the future record, and these are the new set of items that are there in the new master record. If you see this file, these data finance SG analysis was not there earlier. Earlier we had 3 records. So finance SG analysis, this key was not there, so this is added. IT SG tester also was not there, so this is a new key, so this is also added. Now IT SG support was not part of this record. It was not part of that Excel record, so it is deleted. Now there is few more enhancements that you need to do on this data. There are few still caveats in this. One caveat that I will tell you, but I want you to do this thing, is that even though there are places where the key matched, okay, so imagine IT SG developer, the key matched, but imagine the data of that particular item has changed, like Arjun Kumar has changed. Then what do you do in that case of scenarios? This means you have to check everything, every item of each row. You can't rely only on the key. So here my understanding was that when the keys are same, means the data is same, it has not changed. So that's why our demo was in this similar direction. I hope you would have found this video useful and would have learned something new from here. Thanks for watching this video, and do remember to hit the like and subscribe button on the YouTube channel Help Me Coder. This will keep us motivated and will help us to bring awesome content in future. Thank you for watching our video. Until next time, happy coding.